I'm Rick Harsch. I've just reported about the death ship that's the plague death ship that's sailed into our harbor overnight. Not a good thing to see in the morning. And so now I'm going to do a little more talking about books and my press. Whoops. Already things are going bad. Corona Samizdat, you can see the, let me see if you can see the, there you get a little shadow there. Corona Samizdat, that was the first book that I published. There were two of them, these two right away. By the way, I'm coming to you from a little different position. I've stacked 4 books up. I've got Aldo Leopold, His Life and Work by Kurt Meine, and it's one of the most brilliant biographies I've ever read. Meine is brilliant. On top of that, we have Pasolini Requiem by Barth David Schwartz, and it's good. Then on top of that, we have another Kurt Meine special. It's a compendium, an anthology called The Driftless Reader, and I'm in it because I wrote the book The Driftless Zone. On top of that, and you're right directly on top of this, is Dostoevsky, A Writer in His Time, with a new preface by the author. Which author? Doesn't say which one. I think they mean Joseph Frank, but it would be a lot nicer if it was by Dostoevsky. This is a speaker thing. I think what I mostly wanted to talk about was something that occurred to me about one of the great things about having your own press and having it be nonprofit is that you don't have to give a shit about any standards in the industry, including proofreading. Whoops. I tell the authors, you're responsible for that. Okay, I'll pay for the printing, and I, send you books, and when you sell enough books, or we sell enough books, you get some money. A high percentage, relatively, 25%, I think is what I'm going to go with from now on. And so you got books like we got George Salas's Sea Above, Sun Below. There might not be proofing error in here, and yet yesterday I read this one, Davidvardaman's Suddenly Last Summer, and I think there were 10 or so. I didn't mark them. What do I care? I was reading, I was enjoying the book, and I just didn't give a shit. And then you have his other one on the other side of the book, April is the Cruelest Month. There might not be any in there. I haven't read it since it was printed, but when I read it, I caught a couple of things, but there wasn't much to catch. So, but I don't really care. But the more important thing about this is really funny. I hate the blurb. I hate all sales aspect. It's just not in the spirit of literature and art. Selling, advertising, and all that shit. So we get. I think when somebody reads Davidvardaman's book, An Angel of Sodom, and likes it, as I love it, and I haven't gotten a bad review yet, but I got a review in which it was so inspiring or something like that, kinetic maybe, that a man that no one knows nationally, and I don't think even wants to be known nationally, is just a Goodreads reader named Michael Keaton, and he was moved to try to what is the comparison for this Vardaman guy? I mean, and so he said intimations of Beckett. Check, I agree. Ionesco, good one. I never thought of that. Excellent. Sarsch, I think you can say that. Burroughs, maybe a little less so. Kafka, oh yeah. And then these characters, Little Fur Baby, one of my favorites. Poor Fat Jackie, makes me cry. Mr. Pighead Perlmutter, one of the great dinner scenes in literature. The Peroxide Bitches. Then we list. Then we just put Michael Keaton, Sheboygan Falls, and that seems like that's kind of funny, Rick. Well, yeah, it is kind of funny, but it's also so fucking true. I mean, why did Fargo strike a chord? It was a great movie, and it captured one thing that Vardaman captures, which is the absurdity of regionalism. Yet regionalism is part of all of us. Even in the big cities, you have regionalism, and you have warped behavior, and you have a particular kind in the United States. And you get Flannery O'Connor, Southern, she's Southern. You get Davidvardaman, Iowa. Although he lives in Maine now, and he wrote this book in Maine and this book in Maine, and but this book captures a very particular Iowan thing, and so it's quite apt that we have Michael Keaton of Sheboygan Falls. Sheboygan Falls. Yes, that is our reader. That is our reader. But we'll take more. And anyway, so Vardaman has on here intimations of Beckett, Ionesco, Sartre, and Kafka, but that does apply to this book and to this book. But this book is more along the lines of what you would call very, very perceptive psychological realism. And it's a crime novel, essentially a sort of mystery. But what it's remarkable for is how it gets into a sort of proto-feminist state of arms through a fat librarian named Roberta Suki. And I'd read it twice before, and yesterday we got the books, and instead of mailing them to the author like I'm supposed to, I just read it and read it and read it and read it all the way through. It was just really a gripping book. But anyway, this is an advertisement for Corona Samizdat, not just for Davidvardaman. Because, the thing about having your own press is you can do things like, you can tell Jeff Percy, author of two very great and well-known books, if you want to publish with us, go ahead. No, I don't want to read the book. I don't want to read it. I'll read it when we publish it. Why should I judge Jeff Percy? I already have in my own way. I bought two of his books. I bought one, I read it, and I thought it was worth buying his other novel. And I read it, and it was worth it. So why the fuck? And so you can tell Percy, look, just if you want to publish with us, I'm pleased, thank you. And do what you want with the cover. And I could go on and on about the genius of this cover. It's even the rather ugly coloring, which is perfect for it. Because look, because you turn around, you get that gorgeous photo. But that's just one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is say, can you imagine Scribner's, we can't have a cock on the cover. I don't know why they're from England. But anyway, they got a cock on the cover. You can't have a gun with a ball sack on it. You can't do that. And look at Johnson, he's still fucking a nippy. And then on back, oh God, what will Henry think? Henry has relatives in the corporation. Well, we can do it. And we can also, and I've mentioned this before, I've pointed this out before, my Driftless trilogy that I love so much, dear to me, my first book published, giving James Joyce and Trieste a little cock grab, and then we got. I'll be honest. This is really nice. I'm going to read it. It says this is James Adler, the famous James Adler. Rick Harsch's Driftless trilogy uses all language registers to defoliate the forests of Dream America in works of satirical noir that are suffused with brutal outrage, outrageousness, and hilarity. Thank you, James. But it's hardly highlighted. It's a little blurb on there because I know James Adler, and I know he means what he says. But then you get, instead of a big bit here about the book, it's about the author. What a friend of mine said about me on tape, and we've captured here. And what do you want to know about the book? You get in disclaimers. That's about all you're going to get. So I was able to do everything I wanted with this book, and I'm very, very happy with it. And, okay, I won't read it to you because we've already gone over 11 minutes, and I don't know if I can actually shove this up the IGTV. So from down here, underneath Dostoevsky, and maybe the last day will ever be live from, Dostoevsky's falling, with that ship out. Dostoevsky fell, that can't be a good sign. All right, well, au revoir.